Welcome to the Model Health Show. This is fitness and nutrition expert Shawn Stevenson here with my beautiful co-host and producer, Jade Harrell. What's up, Jade?
What's up, Shawn?
She loves the camera.
I just love our lovely listeners.
Me too. And guys, by the way, are you checking out the show over on YouTube as well? Because we are putting you in the studio with us. So you can check out those videos. Go to themodelhealthshow.com and you can check out the videos for a lot of the most recent episodes.
That's
so
right, and hang out
we're
with
having
us.
a good time.
Yeah, we do.
So we've got an amazing show lined up for you guys today. Today we're going to be talking about year-round family fitness ideas.
Yes.
Because it's so important, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
You know, not for just ourselves, but for our entire family. And for me, you know, I just got into reading a book by an upcoming guest, Katie Bowman, and it's called Move Your DNA. And she talks about this idea that we need to get more nutritious movement, not just nutritious food, because we look at our food and things we take from the outside of the world and put into our inside world,
Right.
you know, things that become part of us. And by the way, what we eat is really the most intimate thing that we experience as human beings, because we're taking stuff from outside and putting it into our kind of, you know, holy temple. Yeah. And it's a really intimate process, but our movement needs to be more nutritious as well. And there's lots of different meals that you get, you know, maybe with your certain exercise, but there are also important supplements that you get, maybe by standing more or doing certain stretches, you know. So movement is critical. And this is a big part of our lives because it's not just about exercise, you know, and we've talked about this on previous shows. The word exercise is derived from the word exorcism, right?
Yeah.
Creepy.
I know, right?
It's derived from the word exorcism, which really means to get the stuff out of you that's not supposed to be in you. And movement and, you know, sidebar exercise, that's what it's really about. It's about detoxification. It's about helping your body to eliminate metabolic waste products. It's about creating a better version of you, you know, because if you're not moving, then you're just kind of filling up like a nasty bag of goo.
Or a germy sponge.
A germy sponge.
But I see the intimacy in that too.
Yeah.
In the movement, in the exercise, you know, yes, taking something into your body, but caring enough about your body to do the deliberate, focused things in a loving way to make it better.
Love yourself. Speaking of love yourself.
All over your body.
How are you doing today?
Oh, well, Shawn, today I am incrediblasting.
Incrediblasting. I like that. What is that?
Thank you. I feel so incredible. It's going to be lasting all week.
I loves it.
Incrediblasting.
I just got shot with the
you
incrediblasting.
did. Yes, you did.
Cannon.
Do you feel it?
I feel it. I'm
gonna get everybody.
I'm infected. So
Reload.
before we get into the topic of the day, and again, this is going to be a phenomenal show, so make sure that you really tune in, and you probably want to take some notes too. I'm going to be sharing a lot of different tips and strategies that I've utilized personally and as well as with my family. Let's give a quick shout out to our show sponsor, Onnit.com, who helps to make this show possible. Huge fans of the hemp force protein that they carry. It's the most bioavailable protein for the human body. It's going to be found in hemp. And this is because of a specific compound called edestin. And it's uniquely found in hemp. And it's likely, and there's a lot more studies being done on this, the most usable protein structure for the human body. And that's not an accident, you know, because there's a lot of other things that have a resonance in the hemp plant to human beings. For example, the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio is almost spot on for what's required for the optimal function of humans.
Right.
And there are actually some whole hemp seeds in the hemp protein as well.
They sprinkled a few in there.
Sprinkle.
That's good stuff.
So definitely check out the hemp force protein.
Which
my
is
favorite
great
is
for families.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
Great for
I'm always throwing
too.
it into my kids' smoothies whenever I make them a green smoothie in the morning. My favorite is the vanilla acai.
Yes, you know I'm with the Choco Maca.
And the kids like both flavors. And so actually they had it this morning.
Yeah.
So
I've blended them together to make a nice.
Ooh.
It makes it like a frosty.
You take risks.
I do.
Calculated risk.
Well, with Onnit, you can kind of get loose a little bit.
So definitely check out the hemp force protein, and also check out the Shroom Tech Sport and the Shroom Tech Immune. Two fantastic products based on medicinal mushrooms with thousands of years of documented history for the efficacy, especially that hemp force immune with chaga, upwards of 300% increase in your NK cells activity, so your natural killer cells. So these are the cells that your body basically manufactures weapons against any nefarious substance you might be in contact with, or virus or microbe. And your immune system will know how to take care of it if it's trained properly.
Right.
And that's kind of how these medicinal mushrooms work as far as their polysaccharide fraction, the beta glucans, all the fancy stuff we can get into. But the bottom line is it works clinically. So
it's my cells boot camp.
Cellular boot camp.
Yes.
So head over to onnit.com/model and you're going to get 10% off all of your health and human performance supplements. That's onnit.com/MODEL. Now let's get into the iTunes review of the week.
This one is called Miracle Cast by Surfer Dude Kawhi. Gave us 5 stars. Podcasts should be renamed to Miracle Cast because of this show. Shawn and Jade truly are a miracle cast whose healing message extends far beyond the confines of your own mind, body, and spirit to enrich the lives of those you love. I have spent a large portion of my life training alongside Olympic athletes and was a collegiate swimmer myself. Throughout the years, I've received incredible guidance from the top coaches and swimmers across the world, but Shawn and Jade touched me on another level. I realized toward the end of my competitive swimming career that I was athletically fit, but not healthy physically, mentally, or spiritually. Over the years, I tried 100 different ways to change and evolve to a higher version of myself, but was left with 101 ways that didn't work. Finally, I found the secret sauce recipe, Tony Robbins and this show. I first went through Tony Robbins' Ultimate Edge program, and directly afterwards, Shawn and Jade appeared in my life. Tony Robbins taught me how you can shape your beliefs, and this show continuously provides empowering beliefs that will revolutionize your life if applied. I was once told we experience about 60,000 thoughts a day, and the quality of these thoughts are what shape our lives. Thoughts lead to beliefs. Beliefs lead to decisions, and decisions lead to action. Shawn and Jade provide you with clarity and wisdom that will transform your life one powerful thought at a time. I share these powerful thoughts with my dearest friends and family, and their lives have been transformed too. Most notably, my brother no longer experiences his 28-plus years history of chronic allergies after he stopped eating pasta and improved his sleep quality. Over the last 2 months, I listened to every episode and finally got caught up this week. I was almost brought to tears when I heard the name of your special guest, Jarek Robbins. My transformational journey began with Tony Robbins, and as I finally reached this last episode, his message came full circle as I sat on the beach Thursday listening to his son, Jarek. No amount of gratitude can do this show justice. I win the longest comment award, but it is well deserved. I will leave you with my favorite quote because it perfectly sums up how I feel about these two unconditionally giving people, Shawn and Jade, who share life-changing ideas and never ask for anything in return. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, "You owe me." Look what happens with a love like that. It lights up the whole sky. Hafiz. Jade, you warm my heart. Shawn, you nourish my soul, and together you light up my world. You two are my sun, and I strive to be the same life-giving sun to others. Sincerest thanks, Bryce Bertoli. Give me a shout out if you're ever in Kauai. I have an endless supply of fresh fallen coconuts. Yum, yum, delicious.
I have the chills. That was incredible. Thank you so much, Bryce. And I was right there with you along the whole journey. And yes, you do win the award for longest comment, but
and
like
I
you
struggled
said,
through it, but it really choked me up.
Every single word here. I don't know if Jade is going to keep in how she kept, kind of breaking up a little bit while she was reading it, but definitely hit us in the heart, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody tuning into the show and applying this stuff and even sharing it, just like Bryce mentioned, sharing it with his brother. How profound is that? You can truly make a change. If somebody's been dealing with something for decades, we could help that situation to be transformed in a matter of days.
Absolutely.
Just by getting yourself in alignment with what's real and natural and what's most important about you.
Yeah.
And that's what this is really about. So,
and you always say, surround yourself with the information, immerse yourself in the information, take it in, eat it, drink it, move with it. And you will be transformed. We have.
Absolutely. So now let's go ahead and get into our topic of the day. Today, we're going to be talking about year-round family fitness ideas. And this really came on the back, really. Well, that's kind of a little bit of a pun, but of our episode we did, maybe it was about a year and a half ago, about the sitting disease, right? Dr. James Levine said, today, our bodies are breaking down from obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, depression, and the cascade of health ills and everyday malaise that come from what scientists have named the sitting disease. Now, check this out. Some estimates show that people in our society sit up to 15 hours a day. 15 hours a day.
So
you
if you add your sleep, right.
add 8 hours of sleep to that. That's basically 1 hour that you're up moving around and moving your body. That's really just outside of our paradigm to even rationalize that. But I know that I've been guilty of that.
And that doesn't mean that you're just slovenly, although, maybe that was an accumulation of going to the bathroom or other necessities. But we do sit a lot.
Even that 1 hour that you might be moving, that's probably just walking to your car, walking into your job, getting up to go get some coffee, going to the bathroom, like you said. It can get really kind of outrageous once you think about it. And by the way, so we'll put in the show notes the episode, and you guys can go back and actually listen to some of the biological disorders that can happen as a result, and also some of the strategies we put in there. But those were more personal strategies. And today we're going to be talking about now what about as a family, being active as a family. We know now that this world is like dominated by Microsoft, right? PS3 or PS4, all these game consoles. And I'm not knocking on video games. We were just playing a video game this past weekend, me and my son.
We enjoyed them.
He actually has stepped up to the plate, and now he's actually competitive with me now, as before his domination, which he could talk about it later, because he's in the studio with us today, hanging out. My son Jordan, 14-year-old superstar, almost 15 now. We're about like 2 months away and he'll be 15 years old. It's amazing.
I can't take it.
So just understanding that this is our paradigm. I grew up when the Atari first hit. I was a little kid. My uncle Leroy.
Not first hit. Wait a minute. Let's be honest. Come on now. You're young. Atari
my uncle Leroy. I was tiny. I was tiny playing Pac-Man with that one little stick and one button.
That's it.
And the tennis game had the little round joystick.
That's right.
And so, but then when Nintendo came out, I mean, my goodness, everything. Come on. Do you remember like the cartridges you had to blow?
Yeah.
And then like put it in the right way to make it come on.
Get that angle just right.
And just the evolution from there,
The box, the big gigantic box they came in. And yeah, the whole kit.
What about Duck Hunt? Do you remember Duck Hunt?
I do.
That gun was so raggedy and fake. I literally would just I pointed at myself and it would kill a duck.
Get the duck, right?
It was just outrageous. But anyway, so
how far we've
the
come.
technology has changed dramatically, and with it has become much more enticing, and they create games for the very sole purpose of making sure you get addicted to that game.
Oh yeah,
they're
very
good
engaging.
At that. And it's not saying don't play your video games. It's like, let's do some other strategies so that we can enjoy our time when we're sitting, but also have the health and life that we really want to have at the end of the day. So just to refer back to what Katie Bowman stated in her book, Move Your DNA, and again, she's coming on very soon. She talks about not just getting nutritious food, but also nutritious movement. And how can we find more ways of doing that on a daily basis for ourselves and for our family? And if you guys are following me on Instagram, at Shawn Model, at ShawnModel, but for the people who have been following me, and of course I've just been on there for a couple of months, but I'm posting a lot of good stuff. You notice that I'm sharing more videos with my kids and different exercise or activities that we're doing,
family,
little quick videos on Instagram. So if you're not following me.
That last one you posted with these on it ropes is bananas. It is bananas. First of all, to see everybody in the family doing it and looking like you're having fun. But that was real work.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys were working out and it was incredible. I mean, you were getting it in like Terminator, but that was fun to see. So I dig that, right?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Battle rope.
Jordan was holding his own. It was good.
So now on that note, and the bottom line is that kids do what they see.
Yeah.
And this really refers back to the mirror neurons discussion that we've talked about numerous times on the show. So these mirror neurons and it's been found in multiple places, multiple areas of the brain. And what they do essentially is they simulate anything that you're exposed to. So, for example, if you're watching somebody speak on stage, there are cells in your brain that are simulating you doing what he's doing or she's doing. It's simulating you doing that activity. Very, very powerful. So it's as if you're doing it, you're practicing it in your own mind, doing the thing that you're just watching. So we want to be more attentive to what we're exposing ourselves to, because again, our brain is really wiring itself and programming just based on what we're exposed to. Cognitive neuroscientists and cognitive psychologists urge that mirror neurons may be important for understanding the actions of other people and for learning new skills by imitation. In a study published in March 2005 out of UCLA, it suggests that mirror neuron systems in the brain help us to understand the actions and intentions of other people. Researchers in the study reported that mirror neurons could discern if another person was picking up a cup of tea, planning to drink it, or they're picking it up with plans to clear the table. So these mirror neurons in your brain are already picking up intention and seeing patterns before somebody even does anything. So when we get to talking about in the conversation about intuition, this is not some airy-fairy thing. This is something with a very sound scientific basis. And what intuition really is, the best definition that I've ever heard, is advanced pattern recognition.
That's what I was just going to
say. It's
say.
advanced pattern recognition. And so that's one of the activities the mirror neurons are doing in your brain. Most importantly, mirror neurons are simulating what a person witnesses, like we've been talking about. So all the way from learning how to dribble a basketball to learning languages. This is how we really come to learn as the human species. And also they looked at this dominantly in primates as well. I mean, they've also looked at birds, bird brain. She's after that bread. She's a bird brain. Right. So it's also looking at these different animals, and it appears that across the board, every animal that they study, they're learning through witnessing what's going on in their environment. So powerful. So now with that said, most people see exercise as something to do despite having kids, okay? They try and find time so that they can be without the kids in order to work out.
Yes,
right?
Or the excuse not to.
So mom or dad creep off to this mysterious place called the gym for about an hour, and the kids have no idea what's going on. So what this looks like is working out in the morning before the kids get up.
Yes.
Or working out on your lunch break, or working out late in the afternoon/evening before you get home. And this is fine, absolutely, but there may be another way, a way that encourages healthy habits in your kids and yourself for a lifetime. So instead of working out despite having kids, there are strategies you can work out with the kids and have them to be a part of it instead of being an obstacle.
Yes. But not only that the family engagement in that reinforces the mindset, it reinforces the bond, and then encourages it even further. So it creates a vivacious cycle as opposed to a vicious.
That's what we're going to be talking about today, is how to work out with the kids. So instead of despite having kids, but along with the kids in a way that works for everybody. But first, I want to hammer in.
That's the thing. In a way that works with everybody. So not just bringing them into your routine and your habits, but something that works for everybody, that it's enjoyable for all of us.
Yeah, so definitely we're going to get into some of these specific strategies, but first I want to hammer in some key points. First of all, number one, having kids can often be used as an excuse not to exercise. Yeah, and I see Jade is mouthing something over there.
Because that's usually my excuse, Shawn. You find a way to call me out during our show, but that's usually my excuse. It had been my excuse usually. But those are days of the past. That was my excuse in times past, and would be the thing that I would leave on the table. It would be the last thing to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can't because of the children.
And this is really, I love that you said it. I'm calling you out on it, and some other people listening as well. So when you have kids, obviously one kid, there was Chris Rock the other day. I was looking at the Tonight Show little clips. You know how YouTube is. I'm looking at like research on meniscus, and there's a little recommended video over there. It's like, oh, Chris Rock, let me see what he said. He's talking about having kids, and having one kid, he's like, why would you do that? Because basically if you have one kid, you're the show. You're the whole show. So once you have two kids, now you're like the usher, right? So now because they could play with each other, whereas like definitely with my 3-year-old, when his big brother's not around, I'm the whole show. He just wants all my attention all the time. So I strategically try to set up things, little obstacle course from to keep himself busy sometimes, but definitely I see that.
That's hilarious.
So now I'm bringing up this point to say that, once you do have kids, it definitely changes the dynamics of you living your life, period, but also, of course, when it comes to working out. And I also want to call out the people who don't have kids, right? Because I've worked with many people over the years. I've had the opportunity to work with a couple thousand people, and so many times people who don't have kids are like, I'm just too busy, right? And I'm just like, in my head, of course, I'm on the outside, I'm looking very concerned and compassionate, but in my head, I'm like, what? How many kids do you have? You've got so much time. It's just crazy. But of course, people are busy with, might be going to grad school, working a full-time job, just trying to get some sleep in. There's obviously a lot going on. But when you don't have children, it's a different ball game because you still do have a lot of flexibility that you can kind of step back and see the bigger picture if you choose to. But with kids, they have to be accounted for with every decision you make.
Yes.
And it's a real world thing.
Mm-hmm, and they're improv artists.
Yes, they are. Which we're going to talk about that too.
Funny, different, untimely or timely things in.
So bottom line is this, if Beyonce has time to work out, if the president of the United States has time to work out, who else?
You're naming people with staffs, man.
Brad Pitt, it doesn't matter.
Well, he's superhuman.
It doesn't matter. Oh, come on.
He's different. He can do anything.
Everybody, if there's a will, there's 10,000 ways. There's
sure.
always a way. So we've got to stop using our kids as an excuse to not work out because there's always a way. So that's number one.
That's it.
Number 1 point I want to hammer in there.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm
Number
going
two,
to tape to my forehead.
Number 2 is this other point of carting the kids around for various sports and events and forgetting about yourself. Okay, this is another big thing that happens with parents. Getting our kids to all these different things. You got wrestling, they've got
let me name it.
Jiu-jitsu,
soccer,
yeah,
martial arts. I can just tell you what we got.
Go
We
ahead.
got soccer, martial arts, baseball, basketball. We have chess club. We yes.
Wow.
Yes, plenty.
And then
plenty.
don't forget about all the other extracurricular stuff, the school
Easy.
dances,
Yes.
the different parades and so you're getting the kids
and
everywhere.
we put real effort into that. I tell you what, I mean, come on, we won't be late. They will have all their equipment. There is nothing. I mean, and we'll go back if there's anything missing.
See, and that
I know.
one.
Now you make me
my,
really
my,
see
my kids have been really good about that one though. But so here's the issue is that again we're losing track of ourselves.
Yeah.
And when you're doing that, investing so much time to take care of everyone else and not taking care of yourself, you're not going to be showing up in the best capacity. And when you're at these practices, you're just going to be sitting.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have any energy. Mm-hmm. And even if like, man, I should maybe go for a walk or move around a little bit, you're just going to be exhausted because you're not taking care of yourself first.
That's true.
So if you're going to be carting everybody around, first of all, you've got to cut back on some of that stuff if it's cutting into you taking care of yourself.
Say that, Shawn.
Okay. And this is just the reality. Your kids don't have to do 17 things.
They don't.
Because even their little brains and bodies can only handle so much.
That's true.
And again, we're thinking about, how do we evolve? How do we evolve? It wasn't like this for kids. This is a new invention. Everybody's trying to keep up with the Joneses,
well, maybe even
Kardashians,
well, I don't
right?
I can
So
realize what they're doing, but
that's
we
the name
want
of
to
the
give
show.
them the best.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, right. And I better not catch you watching it either. No, but in addition to that, though, we want to create these opportunities for them so that they can have the opportunities we may not have had.
Right.
So that they can become great, and we keep setting these bars.
But who's
for
their
them.
biggest model?
Come on, man.
Who's their biggest model?
Not
it's
the
you.
lady who's sitting at every opportunity.
You are their biggest model. You're the person that they live with. You're the person that their mirror neurons are operating on the most.
Yeah.
So they want to see you showing up as the best version of you.
Yeah.
So take care of yourself first. So that second point, last point I'm going to share is that, and this is it's going to be on the t-shirts. And if you guys are seeing the video, you can see the t-shirt.
Ka-ching.
Families that train together remain together.
I love it.
Families that train together remain together.
For a lot
so
of
it just
reasons.
creates, this deeper bond that happens as a family unit when you guys are collectively working together as a team or playing together, having fun, exercising together. It's a really, really powerful thing.
And you remain together because you will have the longevity to be there with your family and stay in family. Yes.
Exactly. So we actually talk a lot about this family stuff, family dynamics on my other podcast.
You have another podcast?
I do. And some people don't know about this yet. It's called
so good.
The Good Dad Project.
Yeah.
So check that out. Head over to your iTunes or Stitcher and just type in The Good Dad Project. We've got a bunch of new episodes that just came out. We talk about stuff like this and among other things. And it's really another big passion of mine besides the health world.
Right.
All right. So now let's go ahead and get into some specific strategies for improving the family dynamic with health and really having year-round family fitness ideas. Okay, so I'm going to start with when my 3-year-old was very young. He's about a year old, just, getting his walking on. Mm-hmm. But my wife was trying to take better care of herself, and she was at the house a lot. and she had a difficult time just kind of getting out, especially while I'm gone during the day. And so she was just doing yoga at home, and I just really encouraged her to do that. She loved to do it.
She is.
But she was like, well, the baby. And I was like, get a mat out for him, And I got pictures of them, and I'll put it in show notes of him doing yoga right along with her, and him just modeling and just mimicking what she's doing. It's like the cutest thing.
It is.
So even, something as simple as yoga, and by the way, they've got kids and parent yoga classes, so you can actually bring your baby along, like little babies, and you can actually attend yoga classes and do yoga along with your kid. And as the kids get older, there's different things that they can get into as well. Also, so something that we're really having fun with now is playground workouts. So typically the typical story is parents go to the playground, find a place to sit, find a bench, you ride the bench,
sit opportunity,
and watch the kids run around.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, they got to sleep good tonight. Right?
Or do it again, Jerry.
Yeah.
Run again.
And they might run over and say something to you and then just run off. So those days are of the past. We've got to play with our kids. Get out there and play with our kids. Of course, we can sit down and chill, obviously, but we need to play with our kids more. And we've taken this a step further to actually do some workouts. And so one of what you brought up earlier, the video I just posted on Instagram.
Bananas.
So we brought it's called Big Red.
Yeah,
this battle rope.
I can see why.
And it was labor just carrying the rope to the park, right? It was a workout. And because
how much does that thing weigh? It's about humongous.
It's about 40 pounds. The rope itself is about 40 pounds, but it's like awkward because it's all like all over the place, and it's 50 feet long, 2.5 inches thick. So after doing this workout, I'm used to doing a battle rope that's maybe 2 inches thick and maybe 40 feet, maybe 20 pounds, so 25 pounds. So it was like, whoa. When I first picked it up, I was like, I don't know if everybody's going to be able to do this, because I had my wife and I had my son Jordan, who's 14, and then I had little Braden with me, who's 3 years old. And I was like, nope, we're going to find a way. These guys are going to dig deep. We're going to make this happen. But I've got to model first. I can't just be like, oh, God, I don't know.
Right.
I've got to step up and do it. And so we got clips of us doing different exercises. So I was doing the alternating wave. My son Jordan was doing the power slam, and my wife was doing the double wave, and little Braden was doing the single wave. He was just holding one of the sides of the battle rope and just trying to get up and down. And it's heavy, but he's putting his whole little body into it to make it happen.
Yeah, and
so
I
did a
love
little
seeing
collage.
that. It's a great collage. You put music to it. It's high energy, but to see it was very inspiring. As soon as we saw it, we said, "Come on, let's go to the park."
I love that.
And we got up and went to the park and we played.
I saw that.
We played and had the best time. It was great. So thank you for that. But I love that video.
That made me so happy when I saw that comment that you put on there that you got up and went into. That is what it's all about.
It was a beautiful day. I mean, but then here we go. That mirror neuron and modeling. It was a beautiful day, and we were sitting there looking at videos actually, and wanted to. I mean, the intent was there. We wanted to do something, but that was really the thing that said, "Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go play." Yeah. And so,
and by the way, guys, if you want to get your hands on a battle rope, just head over to the link we mentioned earlier, onit.com/model, and just head over to, I think it's an exercise tab, a fitness tab, and they've got all that kind of cool stuff there, and they've got these awesome primal bells, right? So these kettlebells with these different carvings in them, they're phenomenal.
They're fun.
And so those are another little thing that can be fun for the kids, like I can have the big, orangutan one, and then, little Braden can have the little howler, and just pick it up and do a little deadlift with it. So just more fun stuff. So that we brought it to the playground. We just put it around, attached it to a ladder, basically one of the little ladders at the playground, and just did our thing with that. Amazing. But you don't need to have the battle rope to be able to go to the playground and do some exercise. Obviously the monkey bars, right? Just even trying to swing around, maybe trying to do a couple pull-ups. You guys can assist each other in doing pull-ups. You can assist the kids.
Yeah,
your husband and or wife can assist you.
Yeah.
We
did an obstacle course.
And I'm going to be, you did?
We did. So when we got to the park, we did an obstacle course and we were timing them to our phone. So you got to race around the slide and climb up and over the ladder and then go around the loop and weave in and out of the other part and then come running back in. And everybody had a ball trying to outdo each other on that. It was great.
Love that. And that's another great idea is having a little obstacle course, having the kids follow you and do what you do, But again, you don't need to bring equipment with you. You can use the park as an equipment itself, the swings. And by the way, make sure you're following me on Instagram because I'm going to be putting more of these videos.
That's
We're
great.
doing little workouts at the park. But another thing you can do, like with the swings, you can actually, put your hands on the ground and you can do some, a decline push-ups, or you can do some ab exercises with that. There's so many cool things just to get creative and have fun.
What's
and
your
again,
Instagram address again?
At Shawn Model.
I love it.
All right, so that's another idea there for more year-round fitness. And again, this is probably going to be geared more, depending on where you live in the world, towards the spring, summer, fall months. Let's see. So another thing that we like to do is just taking long walks together and talking. So when Braden was smaller, before he can really, when he had to take 10 steps to R1, and even then we would still have him walk some of the way, but, just have the stroller. And we just go at it. And Jordan was probably around 11 at the time. So he'd hop on his bike and just kind of trail along with us. And my wife and I would get a chance to talk and hang out. Jordan's riding his bike, doing whatever little tricks he's trying to do. And Braden's just soaking in the environment, And so that's something we like to do. We still do that pretty frequently. And Braden now, he just walks along with us. Yeah. Sometimes after, maybe a mile or so, sometimes he'll be like, I'm tired, but a lot of times, it just depends on if we're playing or not. If I make a game out of it, like the last time we just did this on, I think it was Friday or Sunday. So just, a few days ago, he started to kind of, I know he's getting tired. We went on a pretty long walk, but I was carrying two of his little toys, little Transformer toys. And so I kind of ran up in front of him about 50 feet and I just sat it down on random place on the sidewalk. And he's like, hey, why'd you leave? And he ran and grabbed it. And he wanted me to do it again. So I just kept on doing that until we got home.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you got your workout in and he did too.
And that's another fun thing too, mentioning Jordan, is the bike rides, especially if you want to get somewhere local. Make it purposeful, because we don't have to drive everywhere.
That's right. Ooh, good one, Shawn.
I used to ride my bike along with my son Jordan to, this was a couple years ago, to go to the video store, during the summer. And this would be some nice, pretty long rides, especially for him. He just really got into riding his bike. And so we were basically getting out and earning this time that we're going to be sitting on our buns, playing a video game or watching a movie.
Excellent trade-off.
And so we would ride our bikes to go pick up a movie and ride our bikes back.
I love it.
So let's see. Another thing, and let's talk a little bit about something that a lot of us are involved in, which is going to our kids' practices. And any parent who's listening that has been in any of the practices where my son plays on the team, they know that Shawn is generally not going to be sitting around. I'm standing up a lot of the time. I'm walking around. I'm just staying mobile, and that's just something I do when I'm taking him to practice. Of course, I'll sit because, some days is after a long day of work. Maybe we're just recording some great episodes of the Model Health Show and maybe I have a speaking event. But, and maybe I've been on my feet all day and maybe I'll sit for a little while, but I'm not going to be sitting the entire practice 2 hours. That's just totally uncalled for, And so I'll get up and just kind of move around, and I encourage you to do the same thing. A lot of times practices are going to be at fields. Maybe they have a track or maybe they just have an outer perimeter where you can just walk around while your son or your daughter's at practice.
Sure. And we're talking that's practice. So one way is that I ended up getting involved was maybe helping the coaches with something, or if they want to work with one of the children on a specific skill, you can do that, and that's a way to get it in. But if it's at practice, you have a little more leeway. Of course, at their games and when they're ready to do their performances, you're present, you're there, you're able to focus on them. But practice gives you a little room to get in.
Yeah. And since this is year-round stuff, I also got to mention about being in the house. There's a lot of, it's like the DVD revolution, we've had on Shailene Johnson.
Yeah.
On a recent episode, who just crushed it. She's got literally the record for the most fitness DVDs, being in as a personality and also being tied to. And so this is something that you can do if the weather is, if it's inclement weather and you're in the house. You can do, insanity or whatever, insane with the kids. They really like to do that stuff, just kind of work along with their mom or dad. They actually have a lot of fun doing that, especially when they're younger, like, 3 to 6 or 7, they just want to jump in and do what you're doing.
And I can tell you for mine, they love to dance. They love to learn new dances, whatever the current dance
I saw
is.
that.
I know. But you get in and you start dancing with them, you can really get it in. I mean, if you're stuck inside, get some videos going and do some dances, or even some of these games that have
oh yeah,
dance games.
What's that game?
Dance. What is it? Dance.
So there's a game called the Michael Jackson Experience, right? And we played at my wife's sister's house.
I love
and
that
all of us played, but I dominated.
Yeah,
you know.
oh, really?
Yes, I beat my son
Come
Jordan.
on, Jordan can dance.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing. So I was just like wearing that badge, like, and I'm not gonna live that down.
That's right.
You know, but the thing is, it's just like there's so many different opportunities, and even making technology more physical, something like that. But also, again, you don't need to buy anything. You don't need to have a PlayStation. You don't need to have DVDs. You can just do body weight exercises, and your kids can do it along with you. You know, or, you know, if it's inclement weather, it can be in your living room, or it can be in your garage, on your back porch. There's always a way. And
even in the kitchen, for those that are stuck in the kitchen cooking meal after meal because they're always needing to eat something. But you can get it in your kitchen.
Dog, especially the dancing.
I'm
they
saying.
Got that good slippery floor. Why me do it?
Squats.
Why me do it?
Yes.
All right. So here's another thing that's different today that was not necessarily accessible, you know, even a few years back. But now the gyms themselves, they have childcare, you know. So it's yet another excuse that you can part ways with, that I don't have anybody to keep the kids. And from my experience, the childcare at these different gyms, like, they're pretty good.
Yeah, they
you
are.
know, and you're not going to be there all day. It's not like they're supposed to teach your kid how to write a movie script.
Right.
You know, they're just going to play in the little jungle gym and maybe, you know, watch a cartoon or something.
Right.
You know, and you get your workout in. But
and
also,
it's built into the membership.
Yeah.
And you're not having to pay extra for it.
Yeah, it's built in. And also, there are more and more gym activities for kids. There's like even CrossFit for kids. There's CrossFit.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. There's CrossFit activities. They might be at a different time than the adults, but sometimes they have stuff going on at the same time where you can go to a class and your kids can go to a class. How awesome is that?
It is very awesome.
So, and there's a lot of that too at like the YMCA, just the like classic stuff. They've got stuff for kids while the adults can take their own class.
I like that one too, because they have one that's for children that are a little older. Yeah. And so they get to hang out and do things different than the preschool kids, the grade school kids.
And now, one of the best experiences of my life right now, and just kind of, you know, this being the Model Health Show and being a model, showing what's possible for people with their health and fitness, you know, having 3 kids. And something that I'm really enjoying is when my son is getting older now and he can actually come to the gym and train with me, you know? So that's something that's really awesome. And that's something
Can you share that one video too in the show notes where you guys were climbing up the wall and doing that tough course?
Oh, the Ninja Warrior obstacle course. Yeah, so we've done stuff like that. That's another thing that you can go do as a family. But just getting to the gym and actually going and working out with my son or working out with my wife. And honestly, in her opinion, she doesn't get to do it enough, you know, but we do at least get one workout in together each week. But it's really a rewarding experience, you know, because we get to work out together and support each other, you know, even though she's not a really good spotter, you know, like, but, you know, I'm definitely there. I'm there to push her, to help her to get to the next level and to do the little extra things that she might not do if I wasn't there, that she'll readily admit.
So with you being the model guy, how does she encourage you and how does she push you?
Wow. I mean, this is the real kind of primitive thing here. You know, there's just like, we're wired up as men to want to protect, right? And to be strong. So I'm definitely not going to punk out in front of my, but you know, the thing is doing this stuff intelligently. I'm not going in there. If I'm deadlifting 400 and that's my max, I'm not going to go and try and deadlift 500 because she's there.
I hope
you know,
not.
But I'm definitely, I'm going to bring my A game. I'm going to give 120 and I'm not going to slack, you know? So that's really what it is. And also just getting, because, you know, for years, you know, over 10 years, a strength and conditioning coach, you know, so, and I don't do that anymore. So it's fun to help another person. Just like, I love doing that stuff. And just to teach her and to look for little things. Because also when I'm in the gym and I'm working with somebody, it gets my wheels turning for different ideas, different ways that we could do a movement, different equipment that we can use a different way. So that's fun stuff. And so with my son Jordan recently, you know, it's really interesting because he started off, and he can actually come tell you himself. Come here, man. When you started going to the gym with me, or first of all, what did you think back in the day when you were younger and I would go to the gym? What was going on in your head when you would be seeing me go to the gym?
Excellent.
I just wanted to be like him. Yeah, I thought, I don't know.
It's okay, man. So you want to be like me? I love that. So, and what else?
Wow.
What did you think? Like, did you think like I want to go with you someday, or when I get older, I'm gonna work out too, or?
Yeah.
We did say
So-
approaching 15.
Yeah.
They're
So-
men of little words.
Yeah. So now that he's a little bit older, and now that we've been working out together, and I first took you into the gym, and we started off, we didn't skip leg day.
Right.
First day we went and did deadlifts, and I took the 45-pound bar and I put a couple of 25s on the side with their bumper plates so they look big. It's probably intimidating for your mind at the time. You're like, whoa, I'm not gonna be able to do this. And he really worked on it, and of course he listens very well. He's super coachable, and he executes. He really wants to be able to do stuff. And so putting the 25s on so this is about 95 pounds. And he quickly worked his way up on the first training session to over 135
Oh,
pounds.
wow.
So now, so what are you at now? And you're 14.
Now I deadlift 225.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, and I mean,
Wow.
he can do several reps of 225. So his max is probably around 250.
But I can certainly see the difference in him in this period of time. I mean, if you go back to the 10, 11, I've been around a little bit in your life. You really have gotten diesel. Like, and this is not just a natural, adolescent to puberty kind of advancement. I mean, you look strong, you look healthy, you look vibrant. And I knew you were doing something, but I didn't realize you were getting in like that. Wow.
So how does it feel now, or how did it feel when you were able to accomplish those weight goals?
Become proud of myself. Yeah.
So you kind of have your own now. I mean, you've developed, this is exactly what you were talking about in the beginning, Shawn, that he had the example, he has something to model, he has something to see, and now he's coming to his own fitness protocol, his own fitness plan,
Right.
And that's developed now before. So he watched, he learned, he mimicked, he modeled, you worked out together, and now he's his own boss.
So now, last question, then you can get away from the mic, being super nervous.
Don't run.
Do you feel like what you've learned, you're going to continue applying to your life as you get older through the rest of your life?
Of course I am, especially if it means competing with you.
And what about family and your family that will
Yeah.
come one day?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I
Go
can
sit
see
down.
that. You survived that. I love
So that was my son, Jordan Stevenson. And, 15 years old, he's going to look back like, why was I so nervous?
Right.
So, and he just said it too, the competition, because especially with boys, they want to beat their dad.
That was
like
funny.
it's a celebration
Right.
when they can actually beat you.
Uh-huh.
And so it's just giving him something to strive for, and it's not just about, it's what I like this word, coopertition,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like
Coopertition.
cooperation and competition at the same time. It's from a fun place. It's not like,
It is a fun place, Shawn, but I know you. And I have a feeling as he may be getting
I've relaxed.
closer.
I've relaxed a lot from that.
I
So-
remember early days when I said, well, did you let the boy win? You're like, no.
No. He's got to learn. Let the boy
Let the
learn.
boy learn. So as he
Yeah.
gets on your heels, I know that's going to have you crank it up.
And so that's some of the, speaking of being on my heels, doing HIIT training,
Yeah.
So it's actually been a year now. And we were doing some HIIT training at track last year, and he was right on my heels, 13 years old, just like super fast. And when I was in high school, I ran a 4.440, in high school.
Not bad.
I'm just saying. But this is I'm not in the NFL or nothing,
You're
but
right,
so I'm pretty fast, and to see him doing that, because he's trying to reach me. He's trying to go and catch me and go beyond me, and I love that. And it's just really, again, setting that bar for our kids. And wherever you are right now, it's not about you being some superhuman. It's about just doing what you can and showing your kids that you are taking action.
And it ascends you both. It takes you all. It takes everybody to a higher level. Just doing that improves the lives of each of you.
Absolutely. I mean, your kid, if if you're, right now you're in your late 30s, early 40s, and you've been, a couch potato for past few years, maybe it's because of a health condition, and you're working to get yourself into to being the best person that you can possibly be right now, and your kids maybe 18 years old and they're like killing it in sports, and I promise you they're going to be so proud of you for getting up and taking action and doing what you can do right now. There's different levels of this for everybody, and I'm just sharing my model, I'm sharing my example, and I'm so honored to be able to share my son and his very limited but enlightened words with you.
I love that. Well, let me share my example. I felt like I wasn't strong or balanced enough to work out at a high level over time. And the children were in martial arts. And so there was a treadmill in the gym where they would practice. So I started getting on the treadmill. These are in the earlier days. I started getting on the treadmill while they would be at practice. And I would be kind of tucked over in the corner. They were the best cheerleaders and encouragers. Mom, you really walked hard today. You really did great today.
Awesome. Oh,
and they would be getting it in, doing kicks and spins and all this other stuff. And from time to time, they'd look over and maybe give me a thumbs up or a high five sign or something to encourage me too. And that just took us all higher. They were glad that I was.
See, that's the kids know, like one of the things Bob Proctor said, we had Bob Proctor on a recent episode, amazing. And he talked about we need to stop treating children like they're just children.
Yes.
These are human beings, and they have all the same faculties that we have. The only thing they're lacking is experience. And so they already know intuitively, like we've been talking about, what you're working on and where your heart is, and they're going to be supporting you just as you would be supporting them. So that's what it's really about. That's what family is. And so just to share a couple more ideas here, active family outings. Okay, so here in St. Louis, we have things like the Magic House.
Love that.
Right, the Magic House is just this house of magic, basically. Right. You've got all these different things you can climb, and you're walking through, and you're doing this and you're doing that, and you're moving about. And it's a really interesting thing. We have the City Museum, which is just this like really kind of strange, in a way, like obstacle course. There's all this different stuff. And this is something you can do in the winter months. You can go to these places and be active as a family and have some fun there.
Bounce houses.
Yeah.
Buildings.
Bounce houses.
Yes, those where they have the inflatables all throughout.
And there's another place called Sky Zone here in St. Louis as well. Trampolines everywhere, right? And you get to play dodgeball, which we need to do that. We need to seriously do that this weekend.
That is going to be a combined family outing. Let me tell you, dodgeball is on.
It's done.
Harold's and the Stevensons.
I'm taking you out.
I'm
been waiting.
I already know where.
You're going to be like, what was that for? I was like, you know what it was for. Okay, so active family outing. So again, just plan it, just schedule it.
Laser tag.
That's another one, super fun stuff. Jordan was just sharing with his cousin the other day when we did laser tag, and he took a tumble. I think he fell like down a ramp or something. I don't know. But he played it off. He's like, how you look around, see, nobody
I meant
saw
to do
me.
that.
So that's another thing, active family outings. And last thing I'm going to share, and this might be Captain Obvious for some people, but maybe we've gotten disconnected from this. What happened to just throwing the ball around?
Right.
Just getting out and throwing the ball around with your kids. Yeah. So
or frisbee.
Or frisbee. So that's something my son and I, we do a lot. And Braden, he doesn't have, he's got to get involved too. So I have him run some routes. But my son's about to get into high school football now, or even before that, just playing baseball, just getting out and throwing. We've had, I don't know, thousands of throws, back and forth, and it just helps to get out and be active, but also it helps your kid to work on things. A lot of balls have gone into the sewer. Got to point that out. But he's gotten so much better, and to the point that he's surpassed me in a lot of things, and I just love to see it. And so one of the things also that I've been posting on Instagram, I was showing a video of him like running a route.
Oh man, that was good.
And throwing the deep pass to him, and
that was good.
And like all this kind of stuff, it's a lot of fun, but it's also that movement. It's more nutritious movement that you can get in. So getting out there. And by the way, so when I was thinking about this point, I was thinking about the movie The Sandlot. You remember that?
Yes.
And so the kid's name on there was Scotty Smalls. And a huge, just one of the things he really wanted was just to be able to play catch with his stepdad. Yeah. And once he got that opportunity, it really just like, he just lit up, you know? But in that movie also, there was this debacle with the beast, right? It was this huge dog, later named Hercules, known as Hercules. James Earl Jones was over there, you know, it's super cool. But just seeing that whole thing kind of unwind and just getting out and having fun, allowing your kid to get out and have fun and to get reconnected to what it's like to be a kid, you know, so having a good balance of video games, but also outdoors and fun, and not just the stuff that is kind of structured practice or game they have to attend, but just getting out and being creative and having a good time.
That's right. And play. They're children. They won't be children long. This is a short season. Before you know it, those 10, 12, 13 summers are gone. Right. And then they're on their way to becoming adults. So play, embrace, enjoy, relish this time.
Yeah, I love how you said that. You know, I said that in the past episode, but, you know, you've got essentially 17, 18 summers with your kids. 17 or 18 summers.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
Because they start getting their partners and stuff and friends. Like, I'm out.
But some of that time still, you know, like you've got to really take advantage and cherish the time. And of course, things come back full circle a few years after they get their stuff together growing up, right. You know, but this is the time to really enjoy it. So I'm going to leave you guys with 4 tips for involving your kids. Okay. Here's 4 specific tips for involving your kids in your family fun and family fitness. Number 1, remember, with kids, things don't always go according to the plan. Okay. So you have to practice patience. Okay. You have to practice patience. And I just asked my son last night if when he was a little kid, you know, so when my wife and I first got together, because he was about 3 years old when I met Ann, I was just asked, am I more patient now than I was then? He was like, yeah, so much more, you know, and it's a practice, you know, so practice patience because like you said, they are they're improv artists. I was going to say secret agents.
Right, they are that too.
You know, but yeah, they definitely will throw some curveballs and even just, you know, having their different approaches and attitudes with things. For example, the other day I went to do HIIT training with my wife and we took Brayden along. When I took Brayden the year before and he was working out with me and his brother, every single 100-meter sprint that we did, he did it too. We could not make him stop. Like we're like, Brayden, okay, we'll be right back. But he just was like smiling and running all the way down the track. And what was so crazy is he didn't get winded. Right. And me and Jordan were like beat down, right? So
they're built to run.
He loved to do it. He was just having a good time. This time we were doing the sprints and he got upset. He got upset because he couldn't move as fast as we were moving, you know? And I was just like, what a difference a year makes, you know? Because he really sees himself as being like a little fast kid, but then comparing himself to his dad who's, you know, 30 years older than him, plus 30 years plus, it can, you know, it just didn't play well with his psyche. So what we did, I reframed things. I changed up the strategy and the technique, and I had him do his sprint, and then I did mine, you know? So just finding a way to be flexible and to be patient and to encourage your kids, and it's going to just take some patience sometimes.
Sure. That's number 1. Patient point too, though, to say be a little flexible. That adds to it. Good point.
So let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is listen to your kids' requests. Okay, tip number 2 for tips to involve your kids in your fitness and family fun is listen to what your kids request. My 3-year-old literally asked me if we can play baseball. Like when we go outside, it's just something he automatically does a lot of times. Like, can we play baseball? Or he asked me if he can go to the gym with me, you know, and sometimes it's not always possible, but I still want to listen and include him when I can. And on the recent episode with Bob Proctor, he said, listening is the greatest compliment you can give someone. You know, so even though every time he can't come with me to the gym, just knowing, okay, he wants to come to the gym with me, I need to put in the plans that he can come in some form or fashion and we do some kind of this, you know, gym time together, you know? So that's tip number 2 is listen because a kid will tell you what they're into, all right? So next up on the 4 tips for involving your kids in your family fitness and fun, tip number 3 is to schedule it. Okay, schedule it at least once a week to do an active family activity. Okay, at least once a week. Schedule it.
Yeah.
Okay, that one's simple and pretty to the point. Let's move on to number 4 of the 4 tips for involving your kids in your family fitness and fun. Number 4 is to help your kids connect with their why. Help your kids connect with their why. So this is important for kids who are not passionate about exercise and movement. They're passionate about Call of Duty.
Like it, right?
To kids who are just absolutely love getting out and doing activities and working out and playing games and things like that. And to the kids that are in the middle, it's connecting with their why.
Yeah.
You know, so for example, for Braden, you know, maybe it's just so he can be a superhero. You know, like this is what the Hulk does, or this is what Spider-Man does to get in shape for blah, 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 you know? So finding his little why, so he can be big and strong like his brother. That's a big motivating force for him is his older brother. And then for Jordan, like right now, it's for fitness, you know, for his sport, you know? So for him to be capable and ready to be the best on the field, you know, for him to be strong and capable of performing, you know, so he's really in there and he's focused and he's putting it in and he's working on things so that he can show up and be the best player possible.
When you first said this tip and you said help the kids connect with their why, and you always say that our why has to be something greater than ourselves in order for it to be lasting and relevant. And I was thinking, well, how would I make a why relevant for a 3-year-old? But then you said the Hulk and the Spider-Man, they're big to them. That is the ultimate. So even their why, if it wasn't in terms of, I want to change the world, I want to make a difference. A superhero is a great bigger than myself why for a child at that point in their lives. I love that.
And even just giving again, because they're just smaller people, that, you know, by you doing this exercise with mommy and or with daddy, you are going to be able to be healthy your whole life, and you're going to be able to do all kinds of cool stuff when you get older, and you're going to feel good all the time. Like just implanting those little things that are truths as well.
How about this? You are helping make our family stronger and better.
Yeah.
And will last longer.
Love it. Love it.
You know.
You know, and with Jordan, the deeper thing with him, with the training is his ultimate goals of getting to certain places and then what he's going to be able to do for his family. Like that really drives him. You know,
but you're selling them the family idea. It's so funny. I can't even say anything like family future or anything to the 10 and 11-year-old. They're like, what? No. They can't even conceive themselves in that point yet. But at some point they do know that they'll be I'm not talking about his future kids. Family. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
Slow down.
Right.
I'm talking about us. Gotcha. You know, I'm talking about him wanting to take care of his mother.
Oh,
you know, or his sister and things like that. Like he really wants to be able to contribute in that way.
Oh, sure.
You know, and to do the things that maybe, you know, his mom might have missed out on. Wow, you know, so those kind of things. So that's number 4 is to help your kids connect with their why. And I'm going to give one more bonus. We'll give one more bonus before we wrap up. So bonus tip here for involving your kids in your family fitness and fun is remember, if you can do it, they can do some version of it. Okay, if you can do it, they can do some version of it. So a great example is, you know, just the video that I just posted, having Braden do an alternative to the exercise with the battle ropes. You know, he just used one side of the rope instead of both of them because, you know, probably couldn't even barely pick it up if he tried to pick up both. But I also brought a jump rope along and just tied it around the playground ladder and was watching him go up and down with that little jump rope, going crazy. He loved doing that even more than the big rope. Like he really wasn't, he wasn't feeling the big rope. Yeah. But doing the little jump rope, watching his mom do it, he was doing the same thing. It just totally just lit him up.
Sure. It encouraged him and it empowered him. And though for the parents that are not the fit example or the model for their children yet, if they can do it, you can do some version of it.
Love that. Thank you.
Even on the flip side.
Yes. Yes. Because that's what family is about.
Yeah.
So, and you guys are part of my family, and I'm so honored and privileged to have you along this journey with me. And I appreciate you so much for tuning into the show today. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. Now go and schedule something right now. Yeah. Go schedule something for you and your family, and make sure to check me out on Instagram at Shawn Model. And tune in next week. We got an amazing show lined up for you guys. We got so many good shows. It's so good. It's so good. I can't even. Just make sure you stay along this ride with us because it's just going to get bigger and better. I appreciate you so much. Take care. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk with you soon.